the Community Christmas Gumbo and Toy Drive. Now, this is more of a intimate, smaller event that is all because of kind of coming from the mantra of yours, never forget where you came from. Helping kids in the Sunset Grand Coteau area get a Christmas gift during the Christmas season, and delicious bowl of gumbo as well. Santa comes out. This thing has grown. What is it this year? And just tell folks a little bit more about what it means to you, Community Christmas Gumbo.
Community Christmas Gumbo, a lot of the things we did in love of people, it starts out with my parents, a lot of it, and even my dad, he would do a Community Christmas Gumbo ever since I was a kid. And just to tell one quick funny story about it, but I've been 6'2", 260 pounds since I was like 13, so my dad would always make me play Santa Claus. And this is the year I met my wife. We've been together 22 years now, but I think I was like 20 years old, and I still played Santa every year. And my dad was like, "Hey, son, you could play Santa this year?" And I'm like, "Nah, man, I just met this girl." I'm like, "I'm going to tell her, I'm being Santa, And my dad was like, "All right." Didn't tell me anything. And then the next day, I go to my new girlfriend's house, and I walk in her room, and she's like, "Look what your daddy got me." And she holds up a Mrs. Claus costume. And I'm like, I'll be damned, But in that moment, I could hear God's voice tell me, "Son, when I call you to do something, you better listen," And that was when I was 20 years old. And I knew from that day on that I was going to utilize my talent, my time, and my resources to continue to bless others, And Community Christmas Gumbo is just that for me. It's that stake in the ground where this is me. I got nothing left to prove. And what I did was there was a suspicious corner on MLK in Sunset that was known for being a not so good corner, and my initial intention was to change the what people thought of that corner, and so much beauty came out of it, man. I set up, I built this decking for a backdrop. I had a big old pot of gumbo going, and right when we're about to get going, a big monsoon comes down. It just it was raining so bad. And that was another miracle. Within 10 minutes, my Uncle Joe, my cousin Gerald Dixon, they immediately, I called Mayor Charles. He was the mayor of Sunset at the time. And when I tell you, it felt like 3 minutes. We were packed up out of there, loaded up, and the gumbo was balling at the community center out of the rain, just like that. And I could tell that there was something so special about this. It was crazy. I get chills thinking about it. So just to explain. So that first year, it didn't go the way that I wanted it to go. But in all honesty, I felt like God kind of did that on purpose so that it could become what he wanted it to be. The next year 2, we did it. I'm like, all right, let's go behind my Uncle Joe's house. And I started having a couple of people reach out to me about wanting to do some community service. The 705 group was a big one. Melissa Llewellyn, Alan Green again, Matt Zombreaker. It was, all right, I'm just going to be very transparent with this.
All right.
So we on MLK in Sunset, and I have a lot of these white friends and business partners that I do things with out of Lafayette. And I had the opportunity, I tell people all the time I had the best of both worlds. During the school year, I went to St. Leo Seton. I was one of the few black guys over there during the school year, but then during the summer, I grew up at my grandma's house on MLK. So I had a very, what I believe, unique understanding of people, especially when you talk about different races. I knew we were the same because I was going to school with a bunch of white people, and I was chilling on MLK in Sunset. And I wanted to share that blessing with people. You know, so now full circle where I'm at with Love of People now. Now I'm all about just sharing the blessing with others. You know, I don't have to work as hard as I had to 10 years ago to make these things go. And I'm all about just sharing the blessing. So Community Christmas Gumbo for me it created a way for me to have people get out of your comfort zone, come into an underserved community, and actually be with the people. And it will not take you long to realize that we are the same. And when I tell you, it was Robbie Bergeron. 1 year, I tell everybody, look, I'll be there 3, 4 in the morning to start cooking the gumbo. And Robbie shows up to my uncle's house in the hood on MLK and Sunset, knocking on the door like 3 o'clock in the morning, like, hey guys, you know, ready to start cooking gumbo. And I pull up like an hour and a half late, and he's got the gumbo going, you know, but it had been his second year there. You know, he had already felt that connectivity. And for me, man, just to be able to do that, you know, to be able to, one, get people out of their comfort zones, but mainly to just strip away the preconceived, ignorant, wrong notions that people have on both sides of that aisle.
Sure.
Just because you're black and live in a rural area doesn't mean you don't have opportunity or connectivity. Just because you're white and you know, upper middle class or whatever doesn't mean that you don't have any connectivity to an underserved area. Creating the opportunity for people to come together is what Community Christmas is about. Mm-hmm. And sharing in the spirit of love and beauty, you know? And that's what it's become. And now, in all honesty, after Community Thanksgiving, I'm exhausted. So it was like 2 years ago, because I've had like Ronnie O'Quinn, Miss Margaret from Fit Girl, Coach Kurt Richard of Calm Sense, the Daverins with Celtic Bayou Festival. Let me tell you something. The businesses that have come together and taken over this thing, even though it's so special to me, it's probably why I was willing to let it go, because, you know, people like myself, we tend to forget about ourselves, mm-hmm. and we want to take care of others first. These business owners and these community leaders, they've stepped in and they've taken over Community Christmas Gumbo for me. And for me, that is the biggest gift that I've had given back to me for all this service, because I don't even think they realize how special Community Christmas Gumbo is to me. And without them, it wouldn't keep going.
And you guys can find out more information about it by reaching out to us. Once again, loveofpeople.org. Throughout the year, we can, if you want to give us gifts in March, we'll take a gift. We'll hold on to it till December. But to John's point, there's so many of these other organizations and businesses that are coming together because you have created this helping others help others mantra, and coming out the woodwork, or just right in front of your face. Sometimes people you look over your left shoulder, there's someone willing to help, and they come in and they help bring this thing and take the burden off of one person to do it all. And 2025 is, I think, going to be an astounding year for Love of People.